welcome to the Paint Log. My name's Keith, and we're going to talk about my paint progress this week. The past week has actually been pretty busy both in and out of the painting sphere, but my Elden Ring addictions aside, life has been actually pretty busy this week, and so I didn't get to paint as much as I would have liked to. Of course, I painted the mystery mini from last week in a color scheme one of you guys picked, and I got a group together this past weekend to paint, but I ended up getting less painting done than I thought I would have, so... But let's jump into the mystery mini. Before we get into the actual miniature itself, I want to go over kind of my selection process and what I do for that. When you comment a color scheme, I take it and put it into this list with the colors that you recommended and your name so I can shout you out whenever I paint it. I use a random number generator to pick the color scheme for the week, and then I paint the miniature I picked and show you guys. And also Instagram. Shameless self-plug. I have an Instagram at the Paintlog, or at Paintlog. I don't know which one it is. You'll find it. You'll look it up. So go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll add your color scheme to the list. And maybe you'll be the color scheme for next week's mini. This week's color scheme was chosen by, drumroll please, my mom. Congratulations, Mom. Yay! She chose a lovely color scheme, which we'll see on the mini here in a second. But side note, it is literally her birthday today, so how perfect is this? The RNG gods have chosen justly. Honestly, I couldn't have planned it any better. But without further ado, let's get into the mini. Here is a samurai dinosaur from Reaper Bones. The color scheme said red, green, and yellow, and speaking with my mom about it, she said, like a traffic light. So I really wanted to kind of capture this. Now, I muted the green slightly and didn't do as vibrant of a green on the cloth of his armor, but I tried to make up for that with the green kind of energy coming up from under the cracks that he's standing on. I really wanted the base to kind of give off that idea that it was a cracking because of some arcane energy underneath. Probably could have taken the overall brightness of that green a little bit higher in order to sell that effect, but with the time constraints that I was working on and how tedious it was to paint each individual metal rivet and stud in the samurai's armor, I was not able to do that. That's something that I like about these mystery minis. It takes me outside of my comfort zone. I don't know if I ever would have chosen to paint this particular mini. Definitely the Ninja Pterodactyl from the last mini I would have picked up and painted on my own free will, but this one doesn't really sell it to me. And so coming out of my comfort zone and being able to try different things on miniatures to see what I like and what I don't is really cool. Overall, I had a very fun time painting this, and I just want to say one more last time, happy birthday, Mom! And now it's time to pick next week's mini. Give it a good stir, and we get... Oh, one dropped on the floor. I think we got two. We did get two. I was able to find a picture of one of them online, which I'll show now. But the other one is a drunk, or like a pirate with an accordion. He's sitting on a barrel. I don't know if he's going to focus. He's got a beard. He's got some dreadlocks. It'll be really cool to paint. And speaking of painting, I had a group over this weekend in order to paint some minis. We were painting some Seraphons and Sauron warriors. They're lizard men. I'll throw some pictures on screen here in a second. But the idea was to get my friends and people I care about to paint some minis with me, and that's what I would use in a potential game scenario. I even have like really tiny frogs that I'm going to put on the bases of them to signify that they were painted by my friends. Enough of my chit chat. Let's actually look at the lizard folk. These scaly boys were painted up by my girlfriend's mom, and a coworker. Remember, everyone, if you want to paint minis and still attract women like I do, you need to like and subscribe. Studies show that people subscribed to the Paint Log are sexier to those they desire, and you can't argue with science. But jokes aside, the goal was to paint with some friends, and that kind of succeeded. I had painted my test model first and had kind of come up with the overall color scheme, and then I was just spent most of the day walking everyone else through it because they all started at different times because of poor planning on my part. We primed it in Army Painter's Uniform Gray and then did a zenithal of Color Forge's Wraithbone. We washed the whole model in Citadel Agrax Earthshade, and then once that was dry, we re-established the shadows with Citadel's Mechanicus Standard Gray by just dry brushing that to get rid of some of the splotchiness that the wash produced. We did the same thing, re-establishing the highlights by dry brushing Citadel Wraithbone over the scales and the face to bring back some of that definition. And then we covered the prep work in a contrast paint solution that I made, consisting of 1 part Blood Angels Red, 1 part Gryph-hound Orange, and 2 parts contrast medium. The contrast medium was to thin down the overall solution to make it easier to control the color saturation, and so we ended up doing 2 coats to really establish that color in the areas that we wanted it. It's amazing how similar they look, especially with the wide breadth of experience difference between the individuals. I paint and have a YouTube channel devoted to painting. My coworker paints minis semi-regularly. My girlfriend is an artist who is in art school but does not paint minis. And then my girlfriend's mom was kind of complaining the entire time, saying that hers was going to suck. My point being that even at this close-up photo, I don't think that you could really tell the difference or pinpoint who painted what. And as the minis progress, I hope to instruct them in a way that it will be difficult to tell, even if differences do appear. Finally, and somewhat randomly, we have this bone Naga that I have been working on, but I did not actually do anything with it this week. I just kind of want opinions on how I should progress. This will be the final boss in the D&D story arc that we are doing before I kind of set my players free out into the wilderness of the world I have created. Priestess that I showed off last video is currently working to summon this entity into existence, and we will see if that happens. I'm toying with the idea of darkening the spikes that come off of the snake itself or the ribcage and making them a little bit more prominent, but I don't exactly know what colors I want to use for that, or if I just want to make the whole thing really like yellowed and like grungy. Either way, if you have an idea that you'd like to see, let me know, and maybe I'll show you that off next video. And with that, that's all my hobby progress this week. This video is getting kind of long, so I think we'll wrap it up here. But remember, if you liked what you saw and want to see more, or you want to make sure you stay sexy, remember to subscribe and hit that like button. We got several new subscribers over the past week, so I want to take the time here to say thank you. And if you're new here, why not leave a color scheme down in the comments below, and maybe I'll paint it up in one of these ministry minis. And if you are new here, make sure you hit that bell notification so you know when I post a new video. So, until next time, I'm Keith, this has been the Paint Log, and I will see you all next week. Bye!